let's go. Okay. I will switch to English because we have some guests here speaking English. So welcome and thank you very much for joining the first Ingenious community event. We thought to create this event regularly every quarter to have another channel and another way to get in touch with people who use the Ingenious platform. And the idea is to recap things which change and which things in the platform, but also activities we had, content information which you can read about Ingenious to educate yourself. And because sometimes in the day-to-day life things get lost, information get lost, and we wanted to also give you like the possibility to have like a private space here to have questions about things which you always wanted to ask, maybe directly people from here, from the development team, maybe from the product team. So that's the whole idea of it. It's very new for us, and we are in the experimentation phase. So we think that we need some iterations to make it better. So it's always great to get some feedbacks for that. To see what content was okay, what format would you love to have, is there anything you have? So the idea is that you have, it is not a webinar format here, so every one of you is able to turn on their microphone and speak. And I would say if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask your question, interrupt us, and because that should be more a conversation if you like. So without further ado, I would love to give the chance to Tobias to introduce our agenda and start, if there is no question.
Not yet.
So hi everybody. So yeah, the agenda is simple and sweet, right? So first we talk about news, like internal news, or if we have some new tools, etc. The next one's going to be about product news, basically what was released last quarter, and then there's loads of content. So we would like to just give you a hint about new content that we have and that we like and value. So let's start with the news. So the first internal news is that Customer Solutions now has an additional member. Her name is Thais, and if you are writing tickets or on Slack, so interacting with us, the chances are high that you already were in contact with her. So very happy to have her on board. Thais, do you want to say hi?
Yeah, sure. I didn't know if I should or not, but yeah. So hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. And yeah, I'm glad to be part of the solutions teams.
Good to have you on board. And I'm presenting one of the first projects where Thais and myself, plus Tatiana, if you remember her, were heavily involved. And it's our, it's the new Ingenious learning platform. So we not only believe, we know that only users that really understand what they're doing, meaning their processes, their technologies, their tools, how they work and why they do what, that only those are very successful or are the most successful. So this is why we created the Ingenious learning platform, because we know knowledge is key. And obviously, of course, we do have the documentation and there's tours in the UI, etc. But to be honest, most people only read documentation when they need them and don't really use it to build their knowledge. So many people really like knowledge-wise if something is presented to them. So we recorded everything in a video. There's many explanations, many how-tos, and also the backgrounds and concepts, like basically like, not only, oh, look, there's the UI and there's a button, but obviously also what is it doing. And the advantages, if we have new clients, we sometimes face this problem, like you have a full team and they, you need a full team to organize that they take a day off to dedicate it to training. And especially when working remotely, this doesn't make sense. So now everybody, can do their lessons whenever they want and whenever they need. So they don't need to, be in a specific room at a specific time. And obviously at the end of the day, everybody gets a certificate and gets rewarded for their efforts. And let me just quickly jump in. So this is what it looks like from a learner perspective. There's a basic training, advanced training. Obviously you need to complete basic training before you can go into advanced. And if you go in there, well, there's tests and everything, and the test was completed, but let me just show you something. There's the videos, and if you look at the videos, we need to talk about relations and how to manage them. We'll first talk about the relationship manager. So now I don't know if you can hear the sound because sometimes Zoom prevents from transmitting the sound. So basically, yeah. This is what it does. It shows you, upon applying, the partner accepts it, and then part of every relation is a commercial dimension. So it's not only okay, but I'm not going to play the full video to you because either you already know the platform or you're invited to the LMS. But one more thing, what I would like to show you is, as a learner, you see your certificates. And also you can earn badges and everything. That's quite cool. But I think the most important part is having the certificate. It's a PDF, so you can download it and you see it. Let me show you. And with that in mind, are there any questions?
Yeah, how much material is there, Tobias, in sum? So how long does a basic training take, plus minus?
I think it's like 7 or 8 hours. I don't know. I'm not
okay.
100% sure because it doesn't show you, but there's 44 videos.
Okay. And do you know how long people need for this? Do we have like an idea?
Yes, there is stats. So there's reporting. So I don't know, to be honest, the average time, because what I found out is that apparently some of our learners skip lessons. So
okay.
As long as they pass the test and don't ask certain questions later in support, I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay,
so that was my question.
You want to take over?
I think the next thing is about conversion requests in the order. So
so Martin, you take over.
Yes. Shall I share my screen? Or?
Yeah, would be best, I think. I mean, at least here it is. So after the Ingenious learning platform, I have conversion requests. Yes.
Hello, and yeah, nice to see you all, because I think it's the first time that I can see some of my ticket writers in front, and it's the first time for me, and welcome. Conversion requests, I would start with the history of conversions in Ingenious, but this would be a really long story, so let me make a small conclusion. Working with conversions means in Ingenious that you can do a lot in a lot of ways, unfortunately. And a few weeks ago or a few months ago, we started to take a step back to build a new comprehensive way to edit and interact with conversions. So all participants in the platform, like partner, advertiser, and agency, can now have more influence on conversions and take requests to change these conversions or request new conversions. This is really a new way in Ingenious, because in the past it wasn't possible for partners, for example, you have this kind of impact on their conversions. And the second thing is that we can now edit the conversion in a more comprehensive way, which means you have almost a full access for editing conversions. I say almost because you cannot change the partner or the partnership, but you can have a lot of more, you can now change a lot of more fields of a conversion than before. And one of the last good things in this new feature is that we also spend a lot of energy in unifying the conversion from these, Blumenstrauß, I would say in Germany, because there are a lot of different kind of conversions. And now we bring this together to one unified object or way, which allows us to reduce the barriers to understand the conversion. And I have prepared a small example to give you maybe a certain use case or a common use case that you also have in the platform. Imagine we have this, let me use this. Imagine we have a conversion which is tracked, but wrong, because the category is wrong, the commission is totally wrong, the revenue is totally wrong, everything is wrong. And now you can request a change for this conversion in that way that you can easily create a request for it, which means you need to know your conversion, which is quite clear at the beginning. You have a lookup for this conversion in the platform. And as soon as we have find the conversion in the platform, you are able to request a complete a change for this conversion. Or if the conversion is not existing, you can also request a complete new conversion based on your data. In that case, we have the conversion already in the platform, which is totally wrong, but it's there. So I will request now a change for this conversion, which means, let me do a confirmation, please, or let me increase the amount to 100 because the revenue was wrong. And I also want to have a new category, which is fashion. And we have also created this formula in multiple steps because a conversion has a lot of fields, and it makes it easier for you to understand certain steps in that way, I think. So you have a guide through your conversion. All of these other fields I would like to stay as it is, and now I will request the conversion change, which gives me here this entry. And the good thing is, as soon as the conversion is requested, you can also see the changes which will happen after the request is processed, which means, I have changed the category from default to fashion, also the status from open to confirmed, and the revenue from 0 to 100, which gives you a better feeling about your impact, and also the person who needs to accept the request is able to verify the change and can say, yes, I want to have it, I accept the request. This is a really easy example for the complete feature, but it shall give you the feeling about the ways and possibilities that we can now do. And it's just the first step of a new journey in conversion editing, because little by little, we want to combine all other conversion parts in that way, so that we will have in future one unified process lane instead this more or less 8 or 9 ways to change or request conversions. So this so far from my side to this new feature. Thank you for looking, and if you have questions, please ask.
So Martin, this is available for every platform, or is this so by request, or what is the current status?
Available means for the admins on platform side, yes, but for the partner side, we need to have a request from our clients to activate this feature for the partners. But we will also roll out this for all partners in future.
Okay, so we already have partners using this in production, yes? Okay, cool.
Martin, I have a question. When I change the commission model of the conversion, is the commission recalculated and then shown to me, the new conversion commission, before before the request is accepted?
Yeah, Thank you, Frank, I would assume. Yes, it is. We're using our commission models to calculate the commission automatically as long as the user has no specific commission configured. So in that case, I have here one example, which gives us €5 based on a standard commission model. And this value came directly from the model, not from the request. Yeah. So yes, we're using the commission models behind.
Okay. So there is extensive documentation. I already read the documentation. I'm a good user. I also tried the feature. I think we are running now in the feedback phase. So we get a lot of feedback. We got feedbacks from our clients, especially also from clients which operate public networks. They have a lot of feedback. That's very good because it has to work for small publishers up to giant portals and cashbacks, and everyone has to be able to work with it. And I think that's a challenge, but as always, you wouldn't write software and create the platform if you wouldn't try to handle all of this. I think that's in the exploration phase, no?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. Yeah, cool. Let me take over to continue. Sorry for the noise. There's some children playing outside. Okie doke. So we are at my topic. So it's not the props go to the team, but we have some major improvements in the platform. And what does that mean? I will show you the demo as long as it runs. So bear with me if the demo gods are not with me. But what you now will see in a second is like a sneak preview. It's not live. We need feedback for this, and we will also give every customer the chance to look at the changes we made. And we are going to release to give feedback in a secured area where you can use your live data, but no one else than you can see it. So if you operate as an agency or as a public network, your advertisers and partners are still not seeing the new user interface or the changes to it. You only can. I show you in a second. So what was the idea? First of all, we after some years, you recognize that you have like adding features will bring you to a point where you say, hey, now it's fine for people who know the platform for years, but everyone who has to work with the platform as a newbie or even a partner advertiser starting new is like a little bit confusing where I can find what. And maybe you know, maybe not, that we're trying to bring structure into what Ingenious offers. One of the ideas is to have this, we call them products. So on the website, you see like the separation. Sometimes the separation might seem arbitrary, but we try to fit every feature we have in one of those products. Some of them are very easy to identify, like the difference between tracking and finance, and some of them are not. So we also have that in our documentation, as you know. So on the documentation, you have like the separation here. And even if you create a ticket, if you have an issue, you're like forced to decide on which product you have the problem. So what we try to do here is bring this structure a little bit more into the menu, first of all. Second is we try to give you more better click paths through the UI. I will show you in a second. And then we try to modernize a little bit the UI step by step. It's not a big bang release, so it's not that it looks different completely, but we are updating gradually. So I have here one of those test platforms. So I will not show you a real platform of one of our customers because the data in there is live. But what I can do is I can log in here and you can imagine that it's one of your platforms. So what you see first is that a little bit things are different. There are some shadows, some areas look different. That's the easy part. But you will also recognize that the header here sticks. And also the menu sticks. So when you compare that to the login you have, then the header is moving away and the menus are moving away. Here now we try to improve, like it doesn't matter how far you scroll, you still can access the menu. That's one of the major changes. Next, we have the menu itself. You see that the menu is reduced. If you look into your platform or into a live version of it, you see that there is a reduction. We also can, by the way, log in and to a little bit to compare what it looks like when we compare it to the live version. So the live version, as you can see, is a little bit like grew in the past. There's a lot of menu points and also the scrolling, as you can see. So you lose the spot. That's one of the ideas we had. Now also on the left side, you see less in the beginning, but you have the way to navigate down. The navigation changed. So here you navigated vertically, and now you know this menu. I mean, you know it from your Windows or Mac. It's like the drop-down menu. This should not change much of your experience, except that you need less clicks. So here you a little bit have to click to get to the menus. Here you can just move your mouse. Also, we have 3 levels now because we have so many products, and we have we don't want to have below the product all of the features, like all of the finance features and all of the tracking features. We introduce a 3rd level. Here you see also the badges, like here you have something to do. You have 7 advertisers to accept to the platform, or you have some ad spaces, or maybe some applications from partners or something like that. And these badges sum up. So you have here the 7, you have here the 13, and then you see on the top level that you have 32 things to do. So that was the basic idea of summing up the badges. Next, you have the functionality here on the 2nd and 3rd level. There is one thing which we try to optimize is if this functionality, like I work with advertisers, has one major or one main functionality. Here it would be the manage advertisers, where you go and see the list of your advertisers, which also changed. I'll explain you in a second. Then you also have this main functionality directly if you click on the 2nd level. So you don't have to navigate down. So you can go to the partner list, you can go to the relationship explorer by just being on the 2nd level. Because I showed you the advertiser manager, you see some changes. The table itself is a little bit more cleaned up. So there is not much you can see in terms of all of the icons we had. What we have now is you have this I don't know what is it called, like a sub menu. I think it's called like a burger menu, or no, not burger, but like a monster menu or something like that. And you have not only the icons, but especially people who start with the platform, or advertisers who use the platform could not really make sense of the icons, and we added also the text, so to see what is which tool, which advertiser tool is in there. And it should be that also the user interface is able to contain more information. So like if you have a lot of labels, the UI will handle that case better than it did before, and it looks a little bit more cleaned up than before. So this is one change here. One important thing, what is also different, is that the more modern user interfaces. So we have like this interfaces, which you know from the Creatives Manager, you know it from the Relationship Explorer, and every new interface we build is more looking like that. Here you have a more advanced scrolling feature. So the interface itself sticks to the height, and you have like the scrolling area inside, and you have sticky filters. This also helps if you have selected one of the items and you have this info panel here, then you can scroll further and you have still the information here. So these are like the more modern version of our interfaces. So you know that we have different versions of them. So this is the modern one. So one of the other main ideas was to have more access, faster access to tools, especially advertiser tools. For example, we have now in the Creatives menu product data feeds. That means that typically you have to go to the Manage Advertiser. and then select your advertiser and then go to the product data feeds. Now you can directly access feeds, vouchers, and other tools from the advertiser directly. The system remembers which advertiser you used last. So if I log out and log in still, it remembers that I worked with this advertiser last, and it brings me directly, for example, to the vouchers. And still I can change the advertiser here also. I don't have to go to manage advertiser. So I can now go to another advertiser easily, searching or going directly. You still have the way to, so you still have the possibility to go through the traditional way, going to advertiser, finding your advertiser, and then choosing one of its tools. This would be, for example, the vouchers, and then we go again to this screen. But you also have the way now to the possibility to directly navigate to it. This also works with conversion targets, tracking categories, and other aspects of the advertiser itself. The menu itself has one major new menu point, which is called trail. So this is our area where we have tracking and attribution. So this was before, it was just hidden inside of the advertiser. And now we simply expose more of the features, what we have, like click filters and other tools, and you have our users have them directly. Okay. We also brought some stuff which is from the user dropdown here, like credentials, email preferences, profile. We also have them here directly accessible, so you can check your API keys directly. Okay. I also can show you the partner UI, which you might be interested if this is all just for administrators. No. So the partner user interface also has on the first level, it has the same, I don't know which one I can use. I think we have like Mr. Orange or something. Oh no, this is the label, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
That's also Mr. Black and Mr. White.
Yeah, I know. Everyone knows here at the company. And so the user interface for partners is also adapted, so you might have trouble in future understanding in which user interface you are, because we are bringing this two versions of the user interface more close to each other. And if you saw now the ad blocker, it's this is already live, so that it reminds you to disable the ad blocker for this user interface. So this is the partner user interface. You can see that it matches pretty much also the admin side. This is not an accident, but this is intentional, because in future, let's say from now on in 1 year, we will have more and more the user interfaces emerging to one user interface, which by rights and roles is just separated. But now it looks similar. And for partners, also the tools are there, everything is there. It's even more than it was before. But it is a little bit restructured. For example, we also brought the messages, which were just hidden here. We brought them down to a main menu, and also accessing the API key or account details is directly accessible here. The rest is there, but it has to be like a little bit in the beginning. People have to explore it a little bit. Yeah? For example, the advertiser explorer here. Everything else is as it was, like the tours we have in the beginning, as you know, are still there, so that the users you have first of all get the chance to see what functionality is there, and they can always start this tour. I hope you know all about this functionality, and the rest is like as you saw in the admin user interface, the admin part. Everything else works as expected. If some of you are working with this smaller version, also this one works very well. We also try to have your mouse not so if you have trouble to point to the menu point, the menu won't go away as long as you are as long as you are in the mode to choose. You can click here on the gray area, so the menu is away. That is basically the change which is coming after we give you the chance to test your platform. So this is also a little bit a change we have. For example, the LVN. So we have URLs which we will give you as customers, where you can test the new user interface before we release it. Everything is live, and it's live data. And here we can give our customers access to like a sneak preview to the user interface. And it will come, I think, beginning of the next week. We will send you this link and you can log in. You could log in now, but it might be that there are still some changes. Okay, so I think I had enough of time. Are there any questions? Are you happy? Are you disturbed? Do you think that was a waste of time? Do you think the platform looks now more fresh? Is there any feedback you have? Oh, by definition, if you don't have feedback, you love the new changes, and you think that's the best thing which ever happened since the last years.
I think it looks pretty fresh. Okay. To be honest, it's much better than before, because it has a better usability. Because in the past, you always had to switch between the different menu items, and sometimes you don't know, oh, where do I have to look it up? So I think it's much easier also for the clients, especially for the clients.
Yeah, great. I also hope. I know that change is always not easy, especially if you, for example, operate a bigger network. You have to you have questions from people asking, but we think always that some changes are okay to do, and sometimes the small pain we have to go through, and some changes maybe are not so nice when you disable or when you remove a column from an Excel, like you get really trouble, like when people have integrated it in their API or something. But the user interface is always a little bit more forgiving, because people just have to learn a little bit more the paths. In future, for example, we also thought about looking what operating systems do. For example, if you use Windows or OS X, Mac, you have this spotlight. You have a way to quickly navigate to places where you want. I don't know if you can see now my screen. This functionality here, for example, I think Windows, Linux, and everyone else. So I can enter here something, Google Chrome, and it brings me directly to Chrome. We are thinking about creating like even a more faster way to access tools. Like if I do something and I search and I enter conversion, and it brings me the menu point for conversion target or conversion list, or I enter voucher like VOU, and then it shows me, do you want to go to vouchers or do you want to go to whatever? So we think about making it even faster to access menu points, but that's just an idea. We don't know. Maybe it's an experiment we won't do, but we think that if someone really has to work with the user interface daily, it makes a difference. That's my point of view. Like every single optimization might be really helpful. Okay, great. So, okay, thank you very much, Katarina, for the feedback, because you represent like I mean, yeah, you have the problem with Boon, yeah, to have many customers using the user interface.
No, I saw it for the first time, but I think it's great.
Yeah,
better than before, because the thing is, advertisers always come back to us, you know. They're asking, where can I find what? Of course, they're always calling or writing emails. And I think when they go on one menu item and they see then directly, where can I find my tracking code again? It's a better self-service then.
yeah. From the perspective of the advertiser, I didn't show you like a reduced user interface where an advertiser just has a little bit of functionality. I showed you admin, like every feature, and partner, but also for advertisers, it will be very convenient, because if a user only has access to one program, then this new way of navigating to vouchers and product data and creatives makes it very, very convenient, because they just go to this menu and there is only one advertiser. Boom, they are in the voucher list. So there is not this weird going to the advertiser list, seeing only one advertiser and then navigating through. So we think that we improved it in that way. Okay, so who's next? Who wants to jump? Tobias, I think you continue, yeah?
I would just jump in.
Okay. Yeah.
It's more or less quick. So we created a lot of content, and I might just. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I was just hesitating to know if I muted my mic. So we created a lot of content, and like my personal favorite is obviously the podcasts, and there's quite some cool content. So we have 2 Technologie erklärt about technology, really worth listening, and one about agencies with Daniel, which is really, we really took positions, and we really we were quite, how do you say, mutig, brave, but by saying what we think. So if you find the time, I recommend it, and I would be, happy to have new listeners. We would be happy. And also our podcast now celebrates 1 year. So we just recorded a recap with snippets of the highlights of our guests, which will be published soon. And also, we have many new videos. So from the Partner Marketing Summit, there's many videos that we can recommend. And there's a Digital Dash one from Siamak, where he talks about data. And so this is these are the videos that you can see. And I think if you click on this link later, if we share the slides, you can go directly to the community and get access.
True.
So I think that's it for the time being, but we are still there to answer questions.
Maybe I have one other thing where I'm not sure if everyone who is here. So you decided to come here, and you're interested, and we are not sure if you follow the newsletter, the product newsletter I'm talking about. So we are very focused in the product newsletter about informing you about updates. So when you don't want to wait for 3 months to get more condensed updates, it really makes sense to have that newsletter. If you're not like the person to read emails and don't like to get notified by email, there is also in the documentation, there is a release notes area. So what I'm seeing now, you also can see, maybe a little bit less because I'm logged in here, but we have since 3 years, I hope every one of you knows, we have since 3 years, we have like our release notes here, and we really try to update them the moment we have a release. It is also added here. We also have them every other week, every second week, we send the newsletter with a digest of a summary of things which happened in the last week. And also, like now with this community event, we try to summarize even every quarter, and we plan to summarize also the year in the beginning of January to have the highlights of the year. So you have many chances to get to know the updates. There is a way here to also, there is an RSS feed for the release notes where you can attach yourself to the RSS feed. If you have a RSS feed reader, you can add it here so you get the update if there is something. So because why I'm telling this, because in the community format, we wanted to stick to the more important or most shiny ones, which we have the changes. But if you go like from the beginning of the year to now, or even the last 3 months, you see more things which we did, so some improvements, some bug fixes, even new features, as you saw. So it might make sense to hear from time to time to look at those release notes. By the way, you won't find those release notes in any other platform, in no public network, and no private, no software as a service, nowhere except at Ingenious. So you did it right from my point of view. So just as a reminder, to you choose your way to get into the information. If you still have questions and you are currently not using, for example, the support level where you have Slack access to us, I think a lot of team members are in the Partner Marketing Club Slack. I mean, the Slack is very inactive currently, but I know from the statistics that a lot of private communication is happening there. So when you want to reach out and you don't have the service level, the service level contains also more than Slack, but part of it is Slack. You can reach out to the team in the Partner Marketing Club. And I think we also have the link here somewhere in the slides where when we share it to you. So yeah, reach out for us and create interesting tickets. We always love them. Katharina, raise your hand.
Yeah, I have two questions.
Yes.
One regarding the conversion request, which is really great that it's live now, because in the last months we had a lot of complainings from publishers who wanted to upload conversions. So great. And I heard from Heiko that soon the conversion export import will disappear and that it will be integrated in the conversion request. So will it be soon, or is there any update soon on that? Because well, at the moment it really works, but you know, in the past we sometimes had some trouble with the export and import file. Yeah, because of the format and the separator, and you know it all. So when will be the time for releasing this? Yeah, Martin.
Karina, thank you for your questions, by the way. It's really good to have this, because it's the right questions. Because yes, the export-import page will disappear, but it will stay for some months, I would say, because we need also migrate some specific parts of the conversion to the new feature before we can remove the classic way of import-export conversions. So at the moment, it will stay as it is for some months, but it will disappear. And we will inform you about these changes before. And the other thing is, on the new side, I want to tell this also, is that the new way is also improved, because you can now import files with more validations and checks before you upload the file, which gives you really, really fast feedback about issues and mistakes or missing columns that could happen every time when you upload a file. So yes, all of the stuff that you see in the export import page, plus the benefits from the new lane, will come to the conversion requests.
Martin, did I understand it correctly that the conversion request, as it is now, is able to handle most of the functionality of the finance import-export, except when you want to have basket validation? So prove me wrong, but you can create new conversions or update existing ones with the new conversion request route also today. Only baskets are missing, correct? Or is it too is it wrong?
That's correct. There is, we have found out, and after having good feedbacks from the clients, we figured out that on the new lane, you are not able to change the commission in the same way than before. But yes, the conversion update and especially creating conversions can totally migrate it now to the new lane with the benefits that I've explained. So I would say 60% of the functionalities are covered by the new process.
Okay, so not like I said. Okay, fine.
But the direction is right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, you had two questions, Katharina.
Right. The second one is regarding the product feeds. Are there any releases in the future regarding maybe optimizations or something like this? I'm just asking this because in the last weeks we had some problems with some feeds of clients who wanted to upload feeds, and yeah, we had problems with mapping the feeds, or yeah, it was not possible any kind of way for us just to integrate the feed into the system. And yeah, then we really had problems, because you know, it's sales season and all the advertisers say we have a new feed, it must work from tonight on. And yeah, we had a lot of stress and trouble. So it would be great to know, especially for the team.
Yeah. So I think for every case you mentioned, I think I know all of the cases. So we have already tickets created by one of your colleagues, Heiko. It normally turns out that it's not a general thing, but sometimes it's a little bit advertiser specific. And we are working continuously. I think we are really bringing it down, and we brought it down in the last weeks, that we have like a lot of cases covered where you had problems in the past, but there are some new ones. I mean, there are some variations, and currently I think we have like size questions, like feeds which are actually not that big, but because it's a zip file, we calculated here and there that we calculate the size too large. But I think for the rest of the people who don't know what we are talking about, it's like really, if you have a public network like Belboom, Katerina is working for Belboom, by the way, is like you have every variability. So if you have problems which you normally have once per 1,000, you have it like every day with a public network. This is why the feeds here and there have to be upgraded. So Katerina, it's not a big bang release we plan, but we plan to improve through this ticket. So we don't solve these tickets case by case, but we look into the software if there is a general problem. So we don't want to have this same problem again when the combination is there. So that's the idea. Looking into the future, we have open discussion also with you and also with other customers if the feed system as it is currently is the best option, because Ingenious or Belboon and every other customer doesn't have one format. We wonder if it might make if it would be better to have two ways to do feeds, like having one format, like I don't know, the Google format, or an adaptation of it, where you say if you provide that one, you can have additional fields, but that would be like the validation would be much stronger, and everyone knows how to produce, I don't know, a Google feed, because that's like, or Idealo or whatever feed, or the old Belboon feed. That does not matter. We wonder if we are on the right track to be like a tool like products up is like. We don't want to be products up, but at some point we have like 30%, 40% of the functionality now in the system. And so this is an open discussion. We don't know where we went through this, but currently, to answer your question, is like we really look into this feedback in like a long term, like let's solve this problem now for this advertiser and every other if it's the same case.
Yeah, I'm just saying that because sometimes you want to map something and the system gives you back some information, but you don't really know what the system wants to tell you. So we cannot forward this information to the advertiser. You know what I mean? This is just sometimes our current problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally with you.
Thank
you.
Vanessa, I guess you had a question, or Vanessa?
Yes. Just enable your microphone and speak.
Hi everybody. Yes, I have a question, but it's regarding also about the data feed, and I think that Siamak just to answer, because I'm having a lot of problems and a lot of trouble with the data feed, because I'm working with a huge data feed. That means that we're speaking for more than 1 million of deep links. And the thing is that normally, I think that one of the fails of Ingenious, in my view, I'm not IT girl, I'm marketing, but one of the things that I have always problems is that I have only 2 columns that is all the time that they are changing. That is availability and also the price, especially in the sales season, because the product, the color, the size is always the same. Could be possible that one of these 2 changes that for me is really important is changing only these 2 columns to update this information, because the rest is the same. And later I know that when the data feed is failing is because they must update all the data, but this is not necessary. The only necessary 2 columns is availability and price.
Yeah. Did you talk already to the team, or did you write down your question ideas? I think it makes sense to just.
Yeah, I think that Heiko and Christian are on it, but
Okay.
They asked 1 month ago, and I don't have any answer.
Okay.
And for me, it's really important because, for example, with Google, is working sometimes in this time that they are they only update these 2 columns, and for this reason, the system is not slow, is faster because it's not the same update 2 columns that update 20.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, it makes completely sense when you what you tell. I have to see the specifics and the details as always. Yeah. So I think you got attention for feeds, I would say.
No, also for the conversions, I'm really happy and excited that you say that they update this feature, because for my advertiser is especially complicated. And now that everybody understands, now we must change again. It'll be really, you know, like an adventure.
Yeah.
But it'll be great. I have a question regarding the conversions, and especially in export, import. It could be possible if it's Ingenious register or the system register a bug, we notice this bug later? Or it's not possible? Because, for example, I have a customer that is pretty sure that in the last 6 months is a specific case. It's only an example. I have an advertiser that he's sure that in the last 6 months, he exported correctly all the months, but he have the file only of the half month. And now he's saying to us that maybe it's an Ingenious bug. Could be possible that we have that it would be a bug, or could be possible that in case of bug we receive this information?
Do you mean that they validated conversions, but in the system the validation did not happen?
The thing is that all the months download all the transactions. The first of, for example, the 1st of June till the 30th of June. Yeah. But in the file, it was, for example, in the case of May, he said that it was the 1st of May till the 31st of May. And we received he received the information only 16 or 17 of May till the 31st. Of course, he do the cancellations of validation, but we lost the information of the first 16 days. But I can understand that if happened in 1 month, it could be a human mistake, because everybody's a human, everybody has mistakes. But this happened in the last 6 months.
What we sometimes see, so first of all, I can only answer generally because I don't have haven't seen the specific file, obviously. So that's sad. But I have seen similar patterns in the past with the filters, and sometimes there's confusion between you check 1 month and you check 1 month for update date or for tracking date. And sometimes it's really this thing, because, you know, if you check last month and you download export from last month's all conversions, there may not all conversions of last month be validated or whatever, or the other way around. So sometimes it is a filter thing.
No, but we try, and because the thing is that we want to import the open transactions to work on it for cancellations and approve. And it was only the 2 weeks, but in the last 6 months, for example, we try in June. In this month and in the previous month, and it was working, but it's weird that this happened in 6 months and not only 1, because I understand if it's only 1 could be a mistake, but in 6 months, the same mistake, they don't understand, and me neither.
Yeah. So if this happens again, please send us an example or open a ticket so we can take a look at it specifically. Because obviously now we're discussing and nobody's investigated.
But in general, it was only an example, but I want to know how react about the bugs, because this could be a bug or could be a mistake. But it's a way that we notice the bugs that Ingenious have for example, if it's a bug with, I don't know now, to inform to the other customers and be aware.
So, I think sorry, but I
Yeah.
think the main problem is we cannot reproduce the problem of the advertiser.
Hmm.
We can just share the screen and say, hey, I'm trying it with you together, and we see it works. So sometimes I don't really know what the advertisers are doing, and we cannot. They want an answer always for everything. So the thing is, what Martin just mentioned, that there will be a better checklist for the advertiser to check before uploading. It will be great, really.
Yeah.
And this would help us a lot, I think.
Katharina, that was my observation also from the current system, was going into the new concept of conversion requests directly, like why we don't validate this, why we don't validate that, why do, because the system can check it. We have some very interesting examples of this, like do we really want to have conversions in the future? Is this okay? Do we want to have a conversion which has minus 1 million euro? Do we want to have like things like where you probably think that doesn't make sense, and if really someone wants to create a conversion which has like 500,000 euro, that's such a special case which where it's okay, that's a spreadsheet. So we identified a lot of boundaries to have for each customer, for each user, that they have enough validation that when the file is accepted, whatever they expect to happen happens, and if the file is not accepted, then there is a good reason. So this trust into the system that when the file is processed, actually it happens, what I now see in my spreadsheet. So there were a lot of opportunities which we took in the new way, in the new conversion request. That's why we are so pushy to deprecate the old version or the current version to move fast to the new one, because we think that you can move a lot of friction with your customers, and also our own customers with their customers, remove friction in it. So to have extensive validation is important. I think also it changed because the networks got bigger, and also with COVID, and also like the affiliate marketing and partner marketing got so huge, the numbers raised. So before you had customers where you knew everyone and suddenly you have like exploding numbers everywhere, not only in public networks. We have some private customers who have 15,000 partners in one network, in one private network, and it's exploding. So that's sometimes where you see that you have to update your software, your tools, that they do more self-validation, self-service, so that no one has to reach out. So we also think about introducing maybe some feedback, like if the UI fails for someone, we get identified automatically, like this crash report or some other things that we get automatically as a software vendor, directly some information back. So when the UI sometimes showed an error, we get maybe the information directly to see, oh, there was a bug. And maybe also in future we can come up with something where people say, hey, this exactly what I now see seems to be a bug, then they can create maybe a ticket directly in our ticket system. We have to see if it works out to have like taking a screenshot or helping a little bit more with the situation where the customer sits in front, the user sits in front of the user interface and knows, okay, that happened, that this is what I did. So then we might be able to send us back some information about what is the login, what did the user do before that, what menu points entered, and something. So it's an ongoing process, I think, to identify a way to so that users can reproduce, and we can reproduce problems. It's not an easy task. I mean, the relationship to our customers is always very good, because we have some people who know the platform very good and can explain a problem when they have it on their own. So if you have a problem, or some of your colleagues, you are typically very good, you are able to explain how to reproduce. But sometimes you have like a mini partner, mini advertiser, they typically have problems to explain step by step how to reproduce. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to cut it off. As I said, if you have any specific things, reach out to us. Also, if you want to discuss about the future, about ideas, what we can improve, which we didn't thought about. Yeah. So we try to handle more and more features and more customers without manual work. So it's in our interest to have a better platform which works like more automatically. Great. I would love to cap now the community event. As I said, it's the first experiment. We didn't know what happened today. I'm very happy. I'm very glad about your questions and the interaction. I also hope that you find the time to, or you saw something new, or you think that it makes sense to join us again in 3 months when we summarize a quarter again. A video record of this community day will be available, so that everyone of your colleagues who didn't have the chance to join can look at the video, scroll forward and backward. And yeah, if there are any comment on this, if you liked it, or do you think you have some feedback about what to change next time? Otherwise, I would close the round and thank you for your time. It was like 1.5 hours. I think we spotted on 1 hour of 45 minutes. That's great. It's a great sign.
Yeah, thanks for your time. I think it helped.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Karina.
Tschüss.
Guys, bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.